All right, so today what we're going to do is we're going to bring our gallery and our non-room together into the Unreal Engine. If you've already been playing with the non-room in the Unreal Engine by itself, then don't worry, we're just going to refresh the file that was already there because that's how mine's set up. If not, you can bring it all in at once too. So I've got my non-room over here. It's all by itself. It's got everything on its own layers. It's clean geometry, no overlapping, nothing like that. And then I got my gallery over here, which the gallery is in a different file, which yours might not be. So let me just Command X to copy it, Command V to put it back in case I accidentally close it. And then I'm going to come here and Command V just to paste it in. And it should paste in all the layers as well as add even the custom materials to it too. All right, so now we're all set here. The next thing I want to do is go ahead and delete all of the lights off of here. I don't need any of these lights. Actually, I'm going to put them on a different layer. I don't think they're on a layer right now. So I'm going to make a layer called lights. Because I set up some lights for rendering, which I think I'm going to keep, but I'm just going to go ahead and hide them and then not select them when I export. So select objects, lights, move objects to this layer. Turn the layer off, graphic wall back on, sculpture 1 back on. All right, now I'm going to save this, and I've got it saved as non-room portfolio combo. So I'm going to save that. That's good. I might even just delete this. I don't need that. Because it's all one contained environment. We can't even go outside. So, all right. Next thing we want to do is make sure that our units are in centimeters. So go to Settings here. Go to Units, Centimeters. Perfect. Okay, so that's set properly. Then we want to select everything, and before you do this, of course, make sure all of it is on different layers. Anything you want materials on, we're going to explode it. Okay, now we're going to export selected, so we know that we're not selecting our lights, and we're going to portfolio game. I'm just going to create a new folder. Call it and then I'm going to export it as an OBJ file. And then I'm going to keep it like this. All that looks good. Okay, good. Geometry, all that looks good. All right. Unmodified. Okay. All that looks good. Okay. All right, so that's all exported now with all the materials and stuff. So next we go to our Unreal Engine and launch it. Get back to where we've got our game here. And now we're going to click on the orb here. Every object we have brought in has the same coordinates. So I'm going to write down these coordinates. -730, +3370, 100, and 90 on the X rotation. Okay, cool. So that's these numbers right here. So the next step is to bring in the next part. So let's go ahead and go to our folder here where we want to keep our geometry. So go to Content, Non-Room, or we can even just create a new folder. Maybe that's better for this purpose. content, new folder. Right click to create a new folder, call it gallery. Okay. And then let's import to this folder our OBJ file. So let's go to portfolio game, our portfolio gallery combo, and then do our non-room portfolio combo OBJ. And it's going to re-import a lot of some of the other objects that we might or might not want to reuse. Since we changed the geometry of the non-room, it is a little bit different. So let's go ahead and just have it all set like this. Make sure it doesn't have combined meshes. You do not want this setting. Everything else should look just like this. And then import all. Okay. So you can see we've got all of our materials and our models here. So now all we got to do is put these, let's find the actual gallery. There's the gallery here. If I click and drag and drop it over here, then I come over to my transform settings and go -730 tab, 3370 tab, 100 tab, and then 90 tab. We've actually got the gallery lined up already. I'm going to change some things here. I'm going to actually make my volumes a little bit bigger, these volumes here. So I'm going to go to my scale tool here and just pull that direction a little bit more. Do the same with this. Okay. And then we've got a couple of other things we got to import, and we basically could have done all that at once, like for example the window, glow block. Alright, just click and drag, drop them into the scene. They'll all go in, and then I'm going to come over here and -730 tab, 3370 tab, 100 tab, or click over here, 90 tab. Alright, so that should have brought everything in, and we do see that there are some things that we need to fix still. Oh, I don't know where my... There they are. Missing a couple of things. This right here. And this right here. Forgot to move the other ones, but -730, tab 3370, tab 100, tab -90. Or 90, sorry. Okay, that brought the painting up. Oh, there it is. Okay. Cool, so you can see it's brought in most of my materials and stuff. I can go back to my other content window. You can also see that there is some funkiness going on here, and that's just because of the way things are overlapping with this other catwalk. So if I wanted to, I could actually just go into my non-room here and replace the catwalk Now there's 2 of them on there. So this one actually needs a new material, so we go back to our content, we go to our non-room, and we should have our glowing material that we were using before. Apply it to it. It's good to go. Do this one that way. So other things that are messed up a little bit here, we don't have glass. So what we have to do is we go back to our content and our starter content, and we go to materials, and there is a glass material. I can even just search for it, and then click, drag, and because this is on a separate layer, it will add just to that one spot. And then I can do make my own material for the paint. I can also tile this using a texture coordinate to get this material dialed in a little bit more. We need white paint. We need more maybe translucent glass materials for this. Looks like we're missing color on the transparent stuff. But we'll keep fixing that stuff up using similar techniques to what we did in the non-room. But the next step is to make sure our collisions are working. So this is not working, right? So let me escape out, and let's go to our collisions viewer here. And we can see we've got a giant block that's kind of right here. So we again want to go to our individual parts here, and all of them titled non-room portfolio copy. And then we'll scroll down and take off default here and go to no collision for all of them. And then see they vanish because you just fall right through them. And then we go to the ones that are important to have collisions, like the paintings don't really matter. Let's see what. Maybe you don't want to run into the pedestal, but if you don't mind walking through the pedestal, it's not a problem. But I'm going to go ahead and do this in the editor. Go to Edit Non-Room Portfolio and add collisions to this. Okay, so first thing we want to do is clear, remove collision, under collision here. If you're not seeing this window here, make sure you've got it turned on, toolbar, under your window viewer here. And then we're going to go ahead and add a collision. We'll just do the simplified, this guy here. Scroll down and go from collision complexity to use complex collision as simple. And you should see the bounding boxes around it change. You can't really tell on white things, but I can tell on these, so I know we're good to go. We hit save. And then we close this, and we should now see these in our view space. Oh, no, the last thing we have to do is come back here. We turned off all of the collisions on the main viewer here, so now we've got to turn it back on, and we just put the default collision on here. The reason why we clear default is because you don't want the giant box collision that is default to be applied to any of the layers. So you come back in and you rebuild it with the proper collisions. Okay, so next we've got the portfolio gallery, which is this one here. Do the collisions again on this one. Same thing. Remove collision. Add this simplified collision. Scroll down. Collision complexity, use simple or use complex collision as simple. And again, white object, hard to see. My toolbar disappeared for some reason. There it is. Save. Close. Close. Oh, because I closed the toolbar. And then we scroll down again and turn the default collision back on. All right. And then the last one I want to do is just the floor. So okay, cool. So now when we go to play, we should be able to walk through this room. So that's about it for this part. Next thing we want to talk about is building and cooking. So if I build, I can set my light. I'm going to set my light quality on my build to medium here. And then I'm going to go ahead and click on build. It's going to build out the whole thing. Basically just looking at it the way it is, and configuring all of the geometry that it's seeing. This is not a perfect rendition by any means at this point. I'm still going to tinker around with some simple materials, but it shouldn't be anything outside of the realm of what you can do. While this is building, though, I want to show you something else that we've got access to because we're using the Unreal Engine. As far as materials go, there is a free app that has a lot of materials and plants and stuff like that that I know would be coming in handy. It's called Quixel. And Quixel was obtained, I believe, by Unreal Engine. It's actually a scanning website that they scan three-dimensional objects. You can subscribe. I've already done so. If you just sign in with your Epic Games, it's free. So sign in with Epic Games, it's free. Oh, sorry. Okay. All right, so let's look at our libraries here. So these are the mega scans. You've got really large assets here. They're all 3D, different types of 3D assets. What I think is really good is actually some of the plants and stuff that we have too. So you've got decals, you've got surfaces, 3D plants. All of this stuff is accessible for free because you have the Unreal Engine. So you can download these as materials and use them and just load them into your Unreal Engine to add atmosphere to your work. All right, so I'm back here. It looks like my build is done. The last thing I want to do is bake or cook. Sorry, cook. All these terms, right? Cook content. I'm cooking the content for Mac because I have a Mac. If you've got a PC, it'll say cook for Windows. Cook for Windows, that's fine. When we do the critique, I'm going to have to run these on 2 different operating systems. It's going to be a little bit complicated to do virtually this semester. Hopefully in the future we don't have to do that. But it shouldn't be an issue. So this is how you basically make a game that's presentable. So it's going to cook all these, and then after it's done cooking, we're going to go ahead and package the project from Mac. And that's going to create a file that I can open. You can just put it in the OneDrive folder, and then it can be opened for the critique during finals. So that's basically it for the project. After you package your project for Mac or Windows, depending on your operating system, it's going to give you a file. Make sure you pack it in some place you know where it is. Don't lose it. And the file is going to be called non-room or whatever it's called, app.app. And that's an executable file. It's a .app for a Mac. I think it's still a .exe for Windows. So that's the file that you're going to submit. I can open it up and we can do our walkthrough live. Awesome.